Hello and welcome to You Know Something. I'm Dina.
And I am Diana.
Hello, Diana.
Hey, and everybody, welcome to our show.
Yes, we're so glad you found us. If you're a
Mhm.
regular listener, thank you for coming back. We love your support. If you're a new listener, howdy. Nice to meet you. All right, today, Diana, there's going to be audience participation if they choose to, because I'm going to ask you a series of questions, and I'm not going to tell you what it's a test for because I don't want it to cloud your answers. I don't want
Okay.
you to overthink. And so our listeners won't know either. So they can take the test. It's not really a test, it's just a questionnaire. They can take the, I said it again, take the test. I'm just going to call it, you're going to take a test today, everybody. And I'm your teacher, Miss Dina.
Oh,
And then when we're through, I will tell you what it determines about you. It's just an aspect of your personality.
oh,
Um,
sounds fun. I'm in.
okay. And then we'll discuss that topic. But I don't want anybody to take it personally or hurt anybody's feelings, but I thought it would be an interesting conversation. So, with all that, here we go. You ready?
Ready.
All right, you guys ready at home? And you can pause us to think about your answers. Diana does not have that luxury to think about her answers.
Just a minute now. How come I don't get the same luxury? Okay. Let's see how
Here.
you play.
Number one, here we go. Do you prefer deep conversations over small talk?
Oh, goodness. Yes. With an exclamation point.
Okay. Why is that, you think?
Because I'm a nurse and I'm used to getting to the point. I have to get my message across in less than 60 seconds. And I've just learned to channel all of the information, cut out the chit chat, get to the facts, and move on.
What if you're meeting a friend for lunch and you have no plans or anything about what you're going to talk about, but you end up having a very deep conversation and then you get in the car to leave and then you have a lunch again and you have just a fun, lighthearted conversation and you leave. Which one are you going to feel more fulfilled about or enjoyed more if you had to pick one?
Oh, well, I do love in depth conversations, but I really love to be happy and celebrate and just share what's going on with somebody's life and vice versa. So I would probably choose the second one.
Okay. Number two, do you question rules instead of blindly following them? Do you like to know why it's a rule if it's not obvious?
Yes, with an exclamation point. I have I have zero tolerance for that.
So you just don't say, okay, I'll do it. That doesn't really make sense. You just say, what if? How about? How come? Do you do that?
Well, I usually say, help me explain or help me understand. Would you explain to me your rationale, whatever we're talking about? But yeah,
Okay, I do that too. I'll say yes. I'm writing my answers down beside yours. Okay. Are you comfortable being alone for long periods? Now, long is not defined here. I don't know if they mean like most of the day or if they mean several days in a row or several weeks in a row, but I guess the question would be, do you enjoy your time alone or are you, don't like that? I don't like to be by myself.
no, I love to be by myself. I love to be home. That's my place of peace. And yes, I love to be alone.
Okay. I do too. Do you ever think you overthink? And because you're overthinking, you might see patterns that other people might miss. Like everybody's agreeing on something, doing something. You're over there thinking about it. And then you say, wait a minute, ladies, what about you're not thinking about this? And they say, oh, we didn't think about that. Does that ever happen to you?
hmm Yeah. Well, I think everybody adds to the conversation and brings their knowledge and experience. And when people actually have the guts to speak up, then you can get somewhere.
Let's say you're planning an event or something, which you do a lot, and you have a group doing it with you, and you all have a plan and say, okay, that's what we'll go do. And everybody starts doing their thing, but then you're still thinking, wait a minute. Do you just say that's the plan moving forward, or I might need to think about this, and then go back and say, you know what, I didn't think of this. And everybody's like, oh gosh, I'm glad you thought of that. Does that happen to you?
Oh. Yeah, I call that life.
So you might overthink it enough and then realize that
You didn't even remember the forks or the spoons.
very important. Unless
Right.
you're eating Chinese food or a sandwich. Do you often doubt yourself and your own knowledge about something?
Wow. I think there's a lot of ways to answer that. If I doubt myself on something, I'm going to delve in and find all the knowledge that I can to educate myself. And I guess I'm more of a go-getter. If I don't understand something, I want to know why other people see it that way or how did they come to that conclusion. So I do think there's a lot of different ways to answer that, but that's probably my best answer.
Okay. What if you feel like you know that the solution to something and you say, okay, that's probably the solution. Do you ever like call someone or talk to someone, get a second opinion because you're doubting what you think you might know? Or are you pretty much like, "Oh, I know that's right. I know, I'm confident in what I know."
Well, if I'm confident in what I know, then yes, I will move forward and stand behind my decision, whatever, comes what may of that. If I am on the fence with making a decision and I have a professional that I could call and run that by them and get their expertise, then I would definitely do that too before I made my decision.
Okay, that's logical. Right. Do you learn quickly from your mistakes, or do you have a tendency to repeat things a few times before you're finally like, that's probably not a good idea?
Well, when I was 20, 30, and 40, I went around that mountain where I kept making mistakes and I didn't make a change. And I kept making the same mistakes until I got in my 40s. I started figuring out I don't want to go around that mountain anymore. So I try my best not to, at this age, if I've learned a lesson, I really need to treasure it and remember it and move forward from it
Okay.
and not do it again.
I'm going to put yes, that you do learn from your mistakes in this present day. I
I'm
mean, I
sorry.
think, no, I
I,
like that you're doing that. I'm just was trying to
okay.
figure out how if I should put a yes or no. To me, that means you are no longer that person. You did learn from your mistakes because you're not repeating them now.
Right. Right.
So you are,
Right. I feel like I've grown as an adult and matured to the point where I see those mistakes.
yeah.
And some mistakes in life can have severe ramifications,
Oh,
and it's a real teaching lesson.
mhm.
You pretty much learn from those.
Yeah. And there are people, I know some, that are still repeating the same patterns, bless their hearts, no matter how
Well,
many times. So
they will figure it out at some point.
I hope so.
I believe they will.
Do you have a strong sense of curiosity about any subject, about almost everything? Or are you like, I don't care about that. Not interested.
Huh. I like to expand my knowledge.
Okay. I'll say yes for that. I do too. Do you use humor when you're trying to explain a complex idea, if you're trying to teach somebody something at work, or do you kind of put in a little joke now and then? Or are you pretty much business serious? Or do you like to use humor as a way to make the situation more comfortable to explain something maybe serious?
Feel like I'm a very good humorous person. That's not me. I'm more direct and to the point. Now, if it's a comfortable meeting that we're in, and I feel like I am a little bit of a jokester from time to time, and something was appropriate and professional and would kind of make light of the room, kind of ease the tension if there's any. But for the most part, no, I don't do the joke thing.
I agree with that, and I do. I think there's a different, and sometimes it's inappropriate. I have a tendency to think, "Ooh, that's funny. This is going to come out of my mouth right now, and it's probably not appropriate." But yeah, I would say that about you. You appreciate humor, but I wouldn't say that you lead with humor unless
No.
you're out to have a we're doing something fun and it's meant to be that way. Yeah, I
Kind
agree with that.
of like that party that you attended yesterday for St. Patrick's Day. That that was pretty fun.
Yes, it was. All right. Do you adapt easily to change, or do you kind of fret over it and does it kind of knock you off track when things change?
I do not adapt easily to change at all.
I don't either. I'll just
I
say it.
will stay in the same rut until it's more painful to leave that rut than it is to stay in that rut.
It's interesting, isn't it? I am that way too. That's one of my flaws, I think. You know, when you apply for a job, which I haven't in so long, they say, "What's one thing bad about yourself?" I would think my thing would have to be sometimes change messes me up. I have to regroup. I don't flow easily with
Right,
change. Yeah.
right.
All right. Do you talk to yourself to organize your thoughts, like out loud?
I talk out loud to myself all the time, Tina. I'm not sure I'm organizing thoughts, but I am talking to myself.
Okay. It just helps you work it out what you're going to do. Like,
Yes, yes.
okay. I mean, you like say, okay, now I'm going to go make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Now I'm going to take out the bread. I'm smoothly spreading the peanut butter.
It's kind of not that in depth. But
Uh-huh.
yes, I do try to plan my steps because there's a lot of times I get distracted. And if I don't stay concentrated on what I'm doing, then I'm going to be distracted.
Okay. But it has to be out loud. Okay. Not in your inside voice.
Mhm.
All
I
right.
talk to both.
Okay. Do you value logic more than emotion? You know, when you're having to make a decision, are you more like, well, the logical thing to do is this, or, well, no, I just can't do that because I feel this about it.
So I believe you should never make a decision on feelings or emotions. You should make all decisions based on facts and things that are concrete and not fluid like an emotion.
Okay. Very good how you answered that.
Why, thank you.
That would be a yes. You know yourself. That's really good. And finally,
I've been around a minute.
me too, minute and a half for me. All right, the last question, listeners at home, and for Diana. You are a lifelong learner. You're never satisfied with what you know. You want to know more.
Oh, yes. I feel like when you stop learning, you stop living.
Yeah. And I think that goes back to that curiosity thing. Like you're curious about something. So to solve that curiosity, you have to learn it, you know.
Well, and just because your body does age and your mind as well doesn't mean, we encourage the puzzles that people do to continue their brain activity. And it may be something as simple as that, but it works your brain. And yeah, I think it's sad when a lot of smart people feel like they can just retire and all the things that they've contributed to society, their wealth of knowledge. Um, I just can't imagine stopping learning.
Okay. All right. So I have tallied up your yeses, which means you would agree with that description of yourself. And you have 8 yeses out of 12. I have 8 yeses out of 12, and they're not the same yeses. So
Mhm.
8 out of 12. And what this is determining is how intelligent we are.
Oh, now she didn't tell us that, did she, everybody?
So those listening, tally up your yeses. The more yeses you have, the more highly intelligent you are. So, I mean, 8 is more than average. If we had 6, we'd be of average intelligence. So we are of above average intelligence according to this test. I'll include a link to where I found it in case somebody wants to give it to someone else or take it again and change their answers. So I'll be smarter. I'm happy with 8 out of 12. What about you?
Sure. I think that's cool. We both had eight. I kind of like
Yeah.
that.
In different ways. So, what would be your definition of smart? If you had to tell a 3-year-old what smart means, what would you say? Because I found it difficult when I was going over these notes.
So, am I talking to a 3-year-old here? Is that what you're saying?
No, just talk. It could be somebody from Mars that does just learning English, and they've said, "What does this smart word mean?" And you don't know their word for smart, so you're having to say, "Well, smart is like,"
Well, I would probably point to my head, which would infer a brain
okay, hopefully.
to, to begin with. And smart, how do you,
It's tough.
knowledgeable? That is tough.
All right.
Okay.
Well,
You stumped me.
The Oxford Dictionary says having or showing a quick-witted intelligence. So then you got to think about what does intelligence mean? And intelligence is defined in many ways. the capacity for abstraction, which I guess means abstract thinking, like you could think in your head, maybe something you've never thought before, and you can visualize this, and this, and come to a conclusion. Your brain is able to calculate
Yeah.
abstract thoughts. Logic, which you just talked about, and you did get a yes for that. You have good logical reasoning. You understand fairly quickly when someone explains something to you. So you have a vocabulary and a knowledge of what these words mean, and you can visualize in your head. If somebody says, "All right, I need you to go to the store and get this is," you can understand it and visualize it.
Right.
Self-awareness, which I think that test showed you really have a lot of self-awareness because you didn't struggle or stammer about most of those things. So you know
Right.
yourself. Yeah. Because
Yes.
some people would say, I don't know. I don't know if I'm like that or
Yeah,
not.
that is not me.
Yeah. Learning, which is your ability to learn things, obviously. Some people say, "Oh, I just can't get that. I don't get it. I can't remember it. It doesn't make sense to me." You might not be as intelligent in the learning department. There are different compartments of intelligence.
Correct.
Emotional knowledge, that's recognizing, I guess, if you're like, I get angry too quickly and I'm aware of that. Maybe I love too hard, or maybe I'm cold and it's hard for me to love and trust people. You are aware of those emotions that you have.
Mhm. I am acutely aware of those.
Okay, that's good. Reasoning, the ability to reason out things. I think you're good at that. Planning. I struggle a little with planning. I have to have a piece of paper and a pen generally to plan. What about yourself?
Well, it depends on what I'm planning. If it means, if it's a party, yes, we're getting out the paper.
Yeah.
If it's the grocery list, yes, we're getting something out. But if it's the things that I need to get done that day at the house, then I just put that in my brain and start on my checkoff list.
Yeah.
Get
Well,
it.
you travel a lot. So when you know you're going on a trip, say leaving on a Friday, do you plan throughout the week, this day I'll do this, just or you just at the last minute like, ah?
Oh no, I have to have a plan.
Okay.
It's
That shows
regimented.
intelligence.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's regimented. Do not deviate from the plan, Dean. I've told you that
Oh, that's
before.
right. You said that last week. Creativity. And I think some people would say they're not creative because I'm an artist. People sometimes tell me, "Oh, I'm not creative at all," but there is something that you're creative about it. Maybe you can't draw a portrait of somebody, but most people are creative, I think.
I agree.
Right. Critical thinking and problem solving. Those are the last two parts of intelligence. So people who are good at a lot of those things would be considered intelligent. People who are great at all of them, I guess, would be highly intelligent. Now, can a person be intelligent? I can be smart, but not intelligent. And according to this, yes, you can be intelligent, possessing high cognitive ability, knowledge, like you're been schooled a lot and you have a lot of knowledge. You can answer, you'd be great on Jeopardy, but you're not smart. You lack practical application of all that knowledge that's in your big old brain. You lack common sense and maybe emotional, social awareness. You don't treat people well, or you're unaware of how you're making other people feel. So, have you ever
Right.
said, well, they're really smart, but they ain't got a lick of common sense?
Yes, and that's so true. You have to sit back and just wonder at their brain, but then their lack thereof. Like you can't get in out of the out of the rain without somebody going out and getting them out of the rain.
Exactly. I think sometimes geniuses are like that. They're so
Mhm.
above what the conversation of other people are saying that they don't understand that maybe they're leaving somebody out or they're not communicating well with somebody because if you communicate in this high vocabulary you have, you're not getting your point across. What's the point? You're showing off your knowledge, which is great, but
Right.
you're not accomplishing your goal. I used to know somebody who was really smart like that. And we go to a meeting and we'd leave and I'd say, you realize you didn't accomplish anything. You showed how smart you are, but they have no clue what you meant or what you want them to do is what is expected of them. And you've just made them feel bad about themselves. So it was a waste of time. I never could get that across because
Wow, go Tina.
it wasn't really that they were showing off their knowledge. It's just they couldn't help it. They had so much in their brain coming out that they were not socially aware that people were staring at them blankly and
Yeah,
yeah, accomplish nothing. You know what I mean?
understand.
Okay. Often seen in people who struggle to apply their knowledge and make rational decisions or navigate social situations despite having such a high IQ. And that's kind of what I was talking about. Navigate that meeting, that social situation. The gap occurs due to issues like focusing on abstract thinking and over practical skills or neglecting emotional intelligence. Like you have emotional intelligence, and some geniuses do not have emotional intelligence. They can't keep a good relationship, they can't show affection as much, they can't be concerned about what other people's needs are, but they're very, very smart. I think that's like a lot of rich people you see in the world, billionaires who've accomplished so much. Maybe their personal lives are not so great.
Understand. And I will admit here that it is hard for me to be affectionate. That is something that I have to work on in my relationship and my marriage. As far as I just don't think of the affection meaning as much as it does. And so, yeah, that's hard for me.
Yeah. You're very affectionate with me, but we've known each other for a long time and it's been baby steps, I guess. And you have to build up a trust, I guess, with
That's
somebody.
correct.
Yeah. And even sometimes that'll bite you on the butt. You think you know somebody and you trust them and let your guard down, and then oops.
Yeah, that happens a lot too.
Yes.
You know what? We learn who that person really is if they act out like that and they betray us. You learn who those people are. And I do believe that that's just ridding your life of somebody that was going to cause you trouble and now they're no longer a problem and you move
Yeah.
forward.
Yeah. And you have no regrets. You shouldn't, because you did the right thing and you showed love and were
That's
honest
right.
with them. So
That's right.
it's something that they need to work on. Okay, there's actually 7 types of smart, and we kind of went over some of them.
Well, no
Linguist.
wonder I didn't know.
So you may be smart at one thing and not other things, but you're still would be considered a smart person, intelligent person, just because you're not your best in a certain category. And then if you can recognize what those are, you can actually improve on those, focus on those categories if it's important of you to be a well-rounded, intelligent person. And I don't know why anyone would not want to be a well-rounded, intelligent person. But some people say, "I'm so stupid," oh, da, 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 and that just is really a harmful thing to say. So if anybody at home is thinking that about themselves, there is a category that you're very smart in, and you just need to work on some other categories. So let's figure out what they are.
That's right. And the world beats us up enough. We don't need to add to it.
Yeah, you become what you say. You know what I mean?
Amen. Put
And
it
you
out
can,
there.
yeah, and you can stay where you are if you want. If you keep defining yourself as a certain thing, well, why don't you change that? Why don't you do something? And I'm talking to myself too. So let's figure out where we're big old dummy heads at. All right, number one, there's 7 kinds of smart, Diana. Number one is linguistic. That means you're good at writing, you enjoy reading, and you can read like more difficult books and understand the language. And you look up the words you don't understand to build your vocabulary. You're great at telling stories because you have this vocabulary and you can put together. It's just like writing, but you're saying it out loud. So you'd be good at writing if you're good at storytelling, probably. And you enjoy doing crossword puzzles. I fail in this. I could work on this. What about yourself?
I'll do pretty good with that.
Okay, good. So you're linguistically smart.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I've had a lot of experience just through my work of talking to a lot of different people on a lot of different levels and even in very stressful situations in the hospital. So
Hmm.
I've had the opportunity to really learn the language of other people
Great.
so that my message could come through in a better way for them.
Yeah. And you've learned a lot of big words in the medical field too. A lot of body part words and medical terms and prescription words. And I would assume a nurse has to write out what they did, like in a
Right.
little report, and you got to think logically, what did I do? It's very important that you get it right. I mean, it's medical.
Amen.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, number two, logical, which is connected to mathematical. You're interested in patterns, categories, and relationships. You're drawn to arithmetic, arithmetic. Arithmetic. Okay, I need to work on my linguistics. You're drawn to arithmetic problems. Let me try that again. You are drawn to arithmetic problems, strategy games, and experiments. So you're kind of scientific. You know how math is like absolute. There's no almost in math. It's like an absolute
Right.
number. You can't change those numbers because it's not going to work. So some people are fascinated with that pattern of numbers and math and all that. That I could work on too. What about yourself?
I have zero interest in working on.
Okay. So you're
I'm
just
gonna let
gonna,
somebody, well, I mean, I just figure that that is not even an area that interests me. So, no, no.
yeah, that makes sense. So linguistic words, logical, mathematical patterns. Okay. Three, bodily or kinesthetics. Is that like kinesthetics? Okay, what that means is process knowledge through bodily sensations. Often an athlete, dancers, or someone who's good at crafts such as sewing or woodworking. You know, some people that just, you could have five little kids in a dance class and there's going to be one that's just great from the very
Right.
beginning. That's because how their body moves, their brain connects to hands and the instruction of, turn your hand this way. Their brain is their intelligent body-mind coordination. I don't have that either.
I think I have that. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you were you're very an athletic person and a trainer and
Then,
all that. So, yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
And if you think about somebody who's in woodworking and they're able to turn a lathe and get it just right where someone who's not may get it crooked, but it's just some people just, it comes so naturally to them. I've taken a lot of classes in crafts and art, and I think, how did they get that? I listen to the same instructions and and where I've got to work at it more. And there's nothing wrong with having to work at it, but I haven't found my sweet spot here yet. What it
Well,
is.
keep it going.
Okay, let's go. Okay, spatial intelligence. You think in images and pictures. Here we go. Here we go. This is me. You may be fascinated with mazes, jigsaw puzzles, spending free time drawing, building things, or daydreaming. Here, I'm a genius at this. That's called spatial intelligence. What about yourself?
No, I don't think I have any of that.
Okay, I found one you didn't have. So
I
you need to work on your
found.
spatial, maybe do some doodles or
I don't have time to do doodles, Tina.
all right, number five, musical intelligence. You see a little kid that can play a guitar when they're little, when they should not be able to play it that well. It just comes naturally to them.
Right.
And you've heard musical genius, so often singing or drumming on things, usually quite aware of sounds and patterns and rhythms that others may not hear. You might
Hmm.
be driving down the road or going over bumps, and this person's going to hear, they hear music where you just hear a bumpy road.
Mm-hmm. I love the sound of music. It speaks to me, and it's probably the strongest thing that moves me to be better every day. So I'm yes in this category, and
You're a
I,
connoisseur, but maybe
I
you're not. Could you good write a good song, you think?
absolutely,
Oh, wow.
yeah, I could.
Okay. Did you play an instrument? Did you?
Well, I started dance when I was 3 years old,
Oh, okay. So there's your
and
kinesthetic
and
genius.
then I played piano and organ.
Oh, okay. Wow.
And I played the air drums really good for the 80s fans. And I'm actually very good. Even my husband, the first time we went to Bon Jovi and we were listening to Bon Jovi in the car, I was doing my air drums. He was like, "You're actually really good at that." I'm like, "Well, yeah."
Horse. Was there any doubt? All right. Number six, interpersonal. And this is kind of like what we were talking about. You're a good leader among your peers because you're good at communicating to others and you seem to empathize and understand others' feelings. Therefore, you can tell them in a way that they need to learn. You're not showing up,
Yeah.
like I said, you're not showing off your vocabulary. You are good at leading others, making them feel accomplished. You're a good boss. And well, June, I need to talk to her like this because she needs a little bit more time to learn. Whereas Mary, I can just tell her something quick and it's going to drive her crazy if I try to over explain it. And you're just quickly aware. Do you think you're a good leader?
I do. I was a nurse coordinator at the hospital, over the hospital, so I hope I did a pretty good job. I
Yeah.
was that for about 15 years, loved every minute of it. But being the best leader that you can be is knowing your team and knowing how each person, like you said, knowing their personality, their strengths, what they can and can't do, and recognizing, where to put them to be most beneficial is the key to being a leader.
Right. So that is interpersonal intelligence. And then the last one is intrapersonal. The other one was intrapersonal. That means you may be shy, but you're very aware of your own feelings, so you are self-motivated. So you know that who you are inside your personality, but you're thrown into the situation, so you're able to motivate yourself to adapt and do what you have to do in that situation rather than say, this is just how I am, so this isn't going to
Mm.
happen. Where I'm struggling a little with what that may mean. I know it, but the description is you may be shy, but you're very aware that you feel that way and you are self-motivated to get the job done.
So I am shy, but I am also very self motivated to get jobs done. And whatever that takes for me to accomplish that, even if I'm shy and I have to overcome that, I will do that in order to get to the end of my game.
Okay, I think that's a very good way to explain it. You're willing to be uncomfortable because you know something has to be done and you're aware that that's not your strong suit, but you're going to get it done the way you can get it done. So again, it sounds like emotional intelligence to me.
Well, it sounds like you're telling me I'm just brilliant.
You really are. And we're running out of time, so I want to quickly say that if this has made you feel like you're not so smart and you thought, whoa, I struggle in this like me. Uh, the question is, can you make yourself smarter? And although some people say, no, you really can't. I'm going with this one that says you can, of the results that I searched. It says, yes, you can become smarter by fostering the neuroplasticity through consistent learning. You can stretch your brain, study a new language, or learn a new musical instrument. Effective habits include reading daily, exercising to keep your brain healthy, ensuring adequate sleep for the same reason, and solve challenging puzzles. Cultivate curiosity and maintain a growth mindset, and that will also significantly increase your cognitive performance. So there is hope for us dummies. And I saw some weaknesses there in me, and I'm kind of knew them, but to see them in black and white is really helpful to me. So with 3 minutes left, Diana, how would you sum up how you feel after we talked about this today? What you learned? Maybe you feel pretty smart.
Well, I see definitely some weaknesses where I can work on and improve. Uh, the language of learning and then being a leader all sums up to say, let's each know our own strengths. And then when also we recognize our weaknesses, we work to make those better. And we just be the best person that we can be every single day when we wake up that morning.
Very good. Very good. Learning is cool. It's cool. I used to think it wasn't when I was in school, but I think all right. We love you guys for that you joined us, and we want to encourage you today. We won't make you feel like you're not so smart, but nobody's a genius in every topic. But I think it's good to see it all written out how intelligence really means because people say, oh, I'm not smart or he's so smart. And I thought, what does that really mean? So that's why I chose this topic and did a little research, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. You can always play it back and pause the questions to think about it. And I think share it with a friend. Maybe share it with a friend you don't think so smart. Or they think they're so smart.
Hey, is that why you're sharing that with me, Dana?
Uh-oh. I've been found out. But I love you, Diana, and thank you for joining us me again, and thank you guys for joining us. We love you. Share this episode, like, subscribe. Your support means so much to us. So I'm gonna say bye, Diana. Take it away.
And I'm gonna say bye, and you guys go have an epic day. Bye bye.